You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 4th, 2024 meeting of the LaPorte County Board of Commissioners. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the LaPorte County Commissioners
Recording
meeting.
in progress.
I'd like to
Start over.
oh my God, right? Like to invite everyone to the LaPorte County Commissioners meeting September 4th at 10 a.m. If Carlton would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Haney,
Present.
Commissioner Rosinski,
Present.
and Commissioner Grammarosa.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Consider agenda.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consider approval of August 21st, 2024 minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Consider claims. Payroll, beginning with payroll.
Yes. Madam President, we have payroll for the period ending 8/23/2024. In the amount of, in the amount of $1,497,598.66, and that's payroll.
Motion to approve payroll as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Operating expense claims.
In the amount of $2 million, that's a good mic, $2,107,641.43.
Motion to approve the claims as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Public comment. We are now open for public comment. Do we have anyone on Zoom for public comment? Okay, you can come up. Yeah. Yeah, come on up to the mic. If this is your first time, we ask that you give your name and your address.
My name is Cheryl Gall, 8473 East Lakeshore Drive. I live out at Hudson Lake. The matter I'm here for, which I was told it was going to be discussed, is there's a roadway on the side of my house. It has a public stairway that leads down to the lake. But anyhow, I'm disabled. I've had knee surgeries and so forth. My yard has a lower part and an upper part. So the less stairs I go up and down, the better for me. I have a neighbor from Illinois that has been constant problems. He's got a great big backyard. He always parked his vehicle, his boats and trailers back there. What he's doing right now is he's parking his pontoon boat on the side of the roadway, and then when he is there, he parks his van in front of it. The neighbor on the other side has to have a place to park for him and his girlfriend. This guy is blocking me in where sometimes I can't even get out. The neighbors are trying to stay out of the way, but he keeps pulling up more and blocking me. I had Mr. Wheatbrook out, and he said it was going to this meeting for you guys to discuss what was going to be done. I don't feel a pontoon boat trailer should be stored out in the roadway where people do have to park, and parking is limited out my way.
Okay, so normally public comment, it's not a question and answer, so you get to come up here and you get to state what your issue is.
Okay.
And so I can take your phone number, if you got a piece of paper, I can hand you a piece of paper and get your phone number and we can call you.
Okay.
I don't know about the situation and we're not going to discuss it here because we do not have it on the agenda, but I would like to get your information and I can handle this after the meeting. If you'll just step up to Diane, maybe Diane, do you have paper and pencil to get her information? Thank you. Do we have anyone else from the public? Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Kellums, 159 Regency, here in LaPorte. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. You may not be aware of this because it happened early this morning, but the railroad has closed 600 West, the first train line that's south of US 6. To my understanding, the school wasn't notified, emergency services weren't notified. I hope that they're repairing it because that rail line has been in such poor repair that you have to come to a complete stop behind it. Those that aren't familiar with that road, which is a main thoroughfare through our county, it's probably one of the most important county roads we have in the southern part of the county. It's well maintained. It's obviously well traveled. I would hope that the commissioners could reach out to the rail lines. I understand the importance of them for transportation, but having traveled this county for many, many years, I understand the frustration that folks get because the rail lines are closed so often and without notice. Makes it very difficult, not only for emergency services, but probably just as importantly, the school. I would encourage the commissioners to reach out to the rail line, ask them to be better about communicating for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bringing that to our attention. It happens every year that the railroad will close and the sheriff's department doesn't know, EMA doesn't know, EMS doesn't know.
Sure.
And it causes issues. And you probably know, trying to deal with the railroad, they are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, probably even bigger still is the school buses. They have to be rerouted, and they work
Yeah.
on a time schedule. We've got students who are standing out alongside the roads waiting for their bus, and when they have to get rerouted because they don't know, it creates a delay for the schools and even a safety hazard. Thank you.
I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? Hearing none, public comment is closed. Department head comments.
Good morning, Darlene Hale, LaPorte County IT Director. There was an email that was brought to my attention about some security concerns with the Michigan City Courthouse. And some of those concerns are security-related concerns. I was asked by Mr. Haney to facilitate or to see if I could get that done. I don't do security and I don't do building maintenance, but I did arrange to get a quote and some work is being done. We're at the mercy of the vendor at this point, and I know there is a sub-vendor for the door hardware that they're currently waiting on. I just wanted to, give you guys an update. It's not me holding it back. I've put the request in for a vendor to accomplish that many months ago when the money was approved. I know every time I'm contacted, I contact the vendor and say, hey, where are we at with this? And so far it's been the sub of that contractor that does the door hardware. So.
Well, we appreciate you coming up here and letting us all know. And then what we can do is maybe after the meeting, we'll make sure that we get that off to security and get it to the right departments.
Security and building maintenance would be, in charge of that stuff.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you for beginning to, for trying to facilitate it. So we appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Department heads, any other department heads? Good morning, Barb.
I'm here for a couple of different things. One thing, on August the 27th, we had that terrible storm. And just to let you know, the 911 center took in or had 536 calls that day, handled by 5 dispatchers. So they were very busy. 244 were the 911 calls, and there were 292 administrative calls that came in for a total of 536 altogether. So they were quite busy. And they all did a really good job, too, by the way. The other thing that I'm here for is every year we get this bill from Motorola. It is a maintenance contract between us and Motorola for the 800 megahertz. It's a 15-year, and I believe we're in the 5th year, maybe 4th or 5th year of this. And every year it goes up just a little bit. This year it is $95,638. Permission to go before the council to have this taken care of.
Permission granted.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
And so I want you to speak on one other thing.
Okay.
And I believe yesterday one of the people in your department was given an award. And this is something that, maybe on the county side we don't do as often, but I think it was something very honorable. And I would like you to talk a little bit about it.
Last night we went to the LaPorte City Council meeting. Matt Deckard, myself, Nikki Nixon, and her fiance Nick, and Nikki was honored. Well, let me back up. There was a call that came into the center, and Nikki was manning one of the consoles. She is our training officer, and she was actually teaching another future employee, to be a dispatcher. It was had to do with a assault, a very bad assault, and which they had a car chase afterwards. Nikki manned the radio, and she was very calm, and they were very impressed with the way she handled the call throughout. The deputies were well informed as to the roads and what was going on, and they really did appreciate it. So the LaPorte City Police Department sent a letter of accommodation for Nikki and asked us to come last night, and it was very nice. The mayor, of course, and we had our pictures taken, and Nikki was honored, along with all the deputies and all the detectives and everyone else who was involved. The entire police force who was involved was also honored, and it was very nice, and Nikki was very honored, and she was thrilled, and we're very happy to have her. And another short story here, when I first took over, I didn't know Nikki when I first took over 4 years ago, and we needed a training officer. And 9 dispatchers applied for the training officer position. And they all sent in a resume, and I've told this story several times. They've all sent in a resume, and I had 2 questions when they came for the interview. One was, what can you tell me about yourself that will make me want to pick you over the other dispatchers who've applied that isn't in your resume? And pretty much it all went back to the resume for themselves. The second question was, if I don't pick you, who would you suggest would be the best training officer? And 6 of the 9 said Nikki. And we couldn't be more pleased with her performance and the fact that she is now our training officer. She does an excellent job. So.
Well, thank you, because I just wanted to make sure she got recognition, and really for all the emergency departments, I think you guys do a fabulous job there, and the cooperation amongst all the departments is unbelievable, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Department head comments. Do we have anyone from Zoom?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, Heather Stevens, LaPorte County Clerk. I just wanted to pop in. I'm actually at a conference right now. It's all about elections. But I think that there's a little bit of confusion about the early voting. So I just wanted to come in to see if you guys had any questions that I can maybe answer. I'd like to get some approval so that we can start to notify the public. So the county election board did approve the Wanata location, the Wills Township location, Michigan City on 8th Street, and right there at the county complex. But those 2, the Michigan City and LaPorte, were pending commissioner approval.
So the issue, I think one of the issues we have with the complex is we do need the room open. We've gone through probably about a year and a half of not having these rooms open, and we really need them open for the meetings. So I know there's been a few people that have contacted the PAC Center. There's the capability of you having it there.
Nate told Randy Novak that we can use the PAC Center. It's much easier
Well,
for people, especially.
The problem that we've had is that not everybody's following the rules when we've used it. So I'll work with Nate to see what we can do, but this is going to involve a signed contract, which I'm going to have to get done very, very quickly, because I was told by Commissioner Grammarosa that we would be able to use that space up there. So that's why that was my plan.
But as you know, I'm only one of 3 commissioners.
I do understand that.
There's concerns about keeping these open. We've had some large meetings coming up over solar, and the request would be to keep this open for our meetings.
Okay, so tomorrow, can I, after a phone call to Nate Laux, of course, I would just basically use the same lease that we have used and get that over to your attorney? Would that suffice? Or does it have to be voted on at a meeting?
How would you like to handle this? Can we potentially vote for,
You can give
well,
me-
we don't have to vote for PAC Center. All these locations that she finds, because they've gone to,
Just direct Ms. Stevens to get me a copy of the contract, and I'll take a look at it, and I'll get with Mr. Laux or you.
no. Do we sign contracts when she does it down in Wanata and all these other
You've
locations?
been signing your own contracts, right, Heather?
No, not this one. So this one is specifically because in LaPorte, this has to be an extension of the circuit court clerk's office for that month. So this one it's different.
Okay, so delegate the authority to me, and if you all could move that, if I'm satisfied and we can come to an agreement on that the president has the authority to sign the contract if it needs to be done. When's early voting starting?
It starts October 8th, and I'd like to start getting notice out as quickly as possible.
So if you want to delegate the authority to me and then vote, and you can make the vote contingent on acceptance of the contract, that the contract language is okay, if that works for y'all.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 So Heather, once we get the contract and everything, then you'll be good to go.
Great. And do we need to do anything? Do you guys need to vote on 8th Street?
It's their building. I mean, is that already been approved?
Yes.
That's already been approved, I believe,
Well,
right?
we
Fantastic.
still have to take the vote here.
Okay, they'll take the vote.
So do I have a motion for them using early voting on 8th Street?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Moving
Thank
on.
you.
Heather, briefly, do we, for what the election board did the other day, do we need to, do the commissioners need to confirm the full list before it goes out on publication?
No, the only
good.
way that
Okay.
that changes is by unanimous vote from the county election board.
Okay, all right. I just want
So,
to double check. Since we've got-
The other 2 locations, I needed permission because they're your buildings.
Right.
So,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Hi. Sean Fagan, County Prosecutor. Is it all right if I approach? I have some stuff I want to give you. That's
Sure.
okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Can I stop you right now? Because if you, Mr. DiMartino, if you'd like to see this, there's an ongoing investigation. I don't think that this is something that we should talk about in a public meeting.
Well, okay. All right.
So this is information that you've requested, and now he's providing it to you. Mr. Fagan, can we put this off, or at least not talk about this if you have some other public comments? to make, that's fine.
Considering that it is a public news story, I feel that at least my version of events is appropriate, so that in the interest of disclosure and transparency to the public.
Well, you can go to the public, you can go to the news, because I know when the news came to me, I had no comment. So you can go to the news and you can explain to the news. I don't think that if there's an ongoing whistleblower investigation that we should be discussing it at the commissioners meeting, but that's my opinion. Go ahead and do what you want.
Sure. So thank you. So on August 27th, we had a office party at our Michigan City location at about 2:30, and there was it was in celebration of our children that are part of the office, because we try to have an office culture that is family friendly, because our prosecutors and our staff, we work 24/7. We're always available, and as you've been reading recent news, we've had a lot of activity, especially in Michigan City with a double homicide. Actually, with that, I have to give props to the Michigan City Police, who in the span of 24 hours identified a subject, came across a crime scene, and within 48 hours had a suspect. And they made an arrest and such. We've had other incidences. We had a recent murder here in LaPorte. So a lot of activities have been going on. At least with my office, we've had convictions with Jason Wetzel. We had some other things going on. So my office is very, very busy. But with that, as with anybody in public safety, that can take a toll on your mental in family health, because as many people know, I'm wearing right now the thin blue line, and there's some other things that on the back of my shirt, and it's the typical emblem of police and other, at least police. And this shirt actually was part of a fundraiser by the FOP up in Michigan City. So I wanted to make sure to show my support for police and public safety. But as you know, my office is very busy, and so a lot of things are going on. But as this is a public news story, I feel that it's important to mention it. So August 27th, we had an office party in celebration of our children. This party came down pretty much as a spontaneous thing by my staff. On August 23rd, which I believe is a Friday, they emailed me stating, hey, can we throw a party? And they told me what it was for, which was for the celebration of our kids and for our mission, which we do with child support as well. So I said, okay, sure. So I sent out this invite that was prepared by the staff. We invited our Michigan City people, which is about 10 to 15 people, plus the folks over in child support, so about 12 to 13. So they came, and it was at 2:30. So during the event, they bought, using private funds, they bought various materials, party supplies. They bought pizza on their own dime. And so we had a number of guests, actually, and we continued working during this event. So we had police there. We had representatives in a non-official capacity from the Indiana State Police. We had also non-official representation from the Michigan City Police. So we had sizable law enforcement presence that just happened to be. So this event was probably an hour at most. People continued working. My staff on Tuesday, we have a large number of staff since it's a court day.
Mr. Fagan, can I interrupt you? If you can just get to the point. You guys had a get together or whatever it was. If we could just take it from there.
Yes. So
thank you.
So the fact that the event happened is clear from news reports. Actually, I didn't find out about any issues with the report when Stan Maddox called me on Friday and said, hey, do you have any comment? I said, what are you talking about? And he sent me pictures that were taken, and I looked at them and didn't offer any comments, and I'd get back to him. So if there was an issue, I didn't find out for about 3 or 4 days. So on Monday, the 26th, my staff told me they wanted to use the Walmart credit card, which you have a copy of, a receipt of. A copy, they wanted to buy some coffee and other allowed expenses from using our Walmart credit card. We have 3 Walmart credit cards, one for LaPorte, one for Michigan City, and one for child support. Those are we've had that card for a long time. And we can use that for office expenses such as coffee, cutlery, pens, legit expenses. So they asked if they could use it to buy some supplies for this party. I said, keep it, yes, because they were also going to be going and getting allowed expenses, such as, you notice on the receipt, there's about...
Mr. Fagan, if we can keep the receipt out of it. They went to Walmart.
Yes.
Please just...
Yes, so they bought both a mixture of allowed items and non-allowed items. So when they asked how to pay the bill, I did not direct them to use any public funds. And so in the interest of transparency, and because I didn't want to have a debate with the auditor's office about what was allowed and what was not, yesterday, because I was sick all week, because my child gave me whatever's going on, and so for about 3 or 4 days. So yesterday, I went to the auditor's office using a money order that I had purchased myself, gave it to the auditor's office along with the original receipt. So in the end, no public funds were used for this event. And so I feel that the public should hear from me as to what happened in the events
So
that
after
happened.
the investigation started, the intent was to use the credit card, because you did use a credit card, right? An internal credit card.
With the
Did you-
intention of paying for it out of private funds, which we
So
have
why
done.
didn't you pay for the private funds to begin with?
Because the office, at the spur of the moment, told me, hey, we're going to buy some allowed expenses that are necessary for the office.
And this
like
party
coffee.
was for the police, or was this party for extended family?
Well, it was for the office, because we used it as a office morale kind of thing. These kinds of things happen, all are normal within county government, like for instance, when we do Administrative Professionals Day in late April, I will personally buy lunch for my staff and personally
And you
give
don't
them.
use the credit card and then reimburse the credit card?
Well, in times past, there were issues years ago where my predecessor and his predecessor.
But we're not going to talk about him. In your office, have you used this credit card in the past and then come in with money orders and paid for these items?
Well, let me give an explanation as
It's a yes or no question, sir.
I didn't know that there was question and answer during direct
Well,
comment.
this isn't
this
public
is-
comment.
this
This
isn't
is
public
department
comment.
head.
Oh, okay.
And I asked you not to speak about this, but you wanted to continue to speak about this, sir.
Well, when you speak to the media and don't bring your concerns to me individually,
Sir, I was contacted by the media just as you were.
you provided
This
them
is a
pictures.
whistleblower. This is a whistleblower investigation. People from your own office turned this into us.
Speaking of that, let's talk about that for a minute.
I believe that this should be taken offline, sir. Again, there's an investigation. There has been other investigations that we've had, and we keep them offline, sir.
I do also at this point in time. However, if you have any more information that you want to get to the public that's not actually related to the investigation or additional potential allegations, because I don't want this to be an allegation versus allegation thing, we can handle this. But go ahead, Mr. Fagan.
Well, when the news media contacts me about this and no one brings concerns, and, I'd rather, we have a culture in LaPorte County where public officials don't communicate. And, I mean, we tried to set up a meeting with the commissioners through your council to talk about this, to lower the temperature, but we were denied.
Again, because there was an investigation.
Excuse me, Madam President. So I don't think that's really appropriate based on our conversations. However, it's my understanding that this matter came to a forefront because of somebody in your office that filed a whistleblower. And we have a whistleblower policy and ordinance. And so at this point in time, I think that really needs to play out. So, but if you have other further comments, you're free to make them, Mr. Fagan.
Well, I have a number of concerns. One, APS. APS, the state, signs the contract with me. They do not report to you. That's one thing. They work remotely. They've done that for a long time. And so when I'm left out of the conversation as to when I have to find out from my staff that you're wanting to talk with them about office space and you don't include me, their boss, in these conversations, I find that offensive.
Okay, so let me. This is really going far afield, Mr. Fagan, but it's my understanding that APS is going to become its own unit where they're going to go out and getting funding outside of the prosecutor's office.
I can talk about that.
We can talk about that in a workshop regarding that, but I don't know that it's appropriate here, but go ahead.
Well, it's just, county government is dysfunctional. We all know that. And we're trying to do our best as the prosecutor's office to get along, to make sure, to stick to our core mission, which is protecting the public. Because if we don't protect the public, then what are we doing? We have serious issues within LaPorte County in terms of public safety, and we're working on it. And then for us, for a trivial matter, such as this event, to blow up, I don't know. I don't have words to describe it. I'm a pretty eloquent guy. So having these kinds of things where if people would talk to me, you all have my number. You all can contact me at any time. And instead of bickering in the press, why can't we just, like normal Americans and normal adults, just sit and talk to each other and hash out our differences? Because I don't have to come here and talk about things. I hate coming to meetings because to whether it's the council or the commissioners, because all I see is bickering and confusion, and we're just trying to do our mission, which is to protect the public. And that's the only mission that we really have. We are a state office dedicated to protecting the public. And when we have things that we can't just talk and try to get these things done, then it just continues the stereotype that LaPorte County government is dysfunctional. And I, as a taxpayer and as a citizen and as an elected official, hate that, because there are times within county government that I'm just like, hey, you know what? To hell with this. I quit. You know why? Because government sucks. And you know why government sucks? It's because of the people we elect.
Mr. Fagan, can we bring down the rhetoric, just the volume a little bit?
Again, sir, do you want us to disregard the whistleblower because it's your department? When people come to us, are we not supposed to do an investigation because it's your department, sir?
No.
Okay, so then will you please allow us to go through our investigation?
If there's no communication,
sir, when you do investigations, do you contact us and do you make us aware of where you are in the investigation, sir?
Because we haven't had any county commissioners under investigation for a while.
For a while, sir?
Well, we've had 5 or 6 incidences regarding public officials within the last year and a half.
Mr. Fagan, that's getting far afield.
Well, that's how emotional I am at this point.
I understand your emotion. I really do.
I can understand where you're coming from. Last Friday, the first I had heard of this was when I got emailed a news article or texted a news article about this, and I know we wound up speaking, and you filled me in on some of the information because I was curious, and I reached out to you. The first communication that I've received from the board was actually this morning, the email asking for this receipt.
And we provided it.
Yes, thank you. That and extremely promptly.
You provided it to the auditor's office. I requested an email to the auditor's office. They contacted you, and now you've shown up
Actually,
here.
they didn't contact me. I was copied on that email.
Okay.
Besides, the bill, for this bill, it's in advance, so it won't be paid.
So again, I just really think that we need to take this offline.
I agree at this point, Mr.
We
Fagan.
need to stop.
It is at the same time just for for the board to receive information, generally speaking, especially from a department head. It's why we have department head comments. It's why we meet as a board, because officially the three of us can't get together outside of that and take in information in this capacity. So it's one of those things where it kind of has to happen here. To a point, obviously. Now, if there's names and things with an individual whistleblower, we don't want to talk about that.
Investigation.
Excuse me, Madam President. I'm speaking. Take a moment.
We did not
and let me finish my comment, and then you can finish speaking. That's how things work with adults.
We did not bring it to the commissioners.
Talk. We draw things out, and then you can comment back. My point is that, as long as we're not speaking about any information that may or may not reveal who a whistleblower is or identity or anything like that, we can have this slightly higher level conversation and no one's being negatively impacted by that. So I think it's important
and this is where we have to be cognizant, because if the whistleblowers out there watching this, there are issues there. People are concerned about their job. So I understand that you need to receive information because you can't speak, but how much more information do you need to provide, Mr. Fagan?
So regarding any two things. For any whistleblower complaint, today was the first we've heard is an office.
But I don't think that you receive notice once that happens. I don't believe that the department head will receive notice that there's a whistleblower complaint.
Well, given a number of, like security concerns, as I've addressed an email to everyone where we had a breach at the Michigan City office. So what my main concern is that internal investigations that are currently going on are being disclosed to third parties, and it's not us. And we have proof that it's not coming from us, because I have documented proof that it's not coming from us, and that stuff related to investigations are being disclosed to third parties who have no business knowing what's going on.
Can I clarify? Can I ask for clarification? Are you saying that third parties are disclosing to the public your criminal investigations?
Sensitive data is being disclosed to somebody, and I'm trying to figure that out.
And that problem's in your office.
Well, I don't want to get into it at a public meeting regarding some of this.
You don't want to hear that.
So,
any further comments?
No, but I want to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please contact me. You all have my phone number. So if there's nothing else, thank you.
Moving on, any other department heads? Anyone on Zoom?
I have something. Good morning. This is unrelated to anything that's been discussed so far. Tim Stables, LaPorte County Auditor. I just wanted to thank my staff and report to you that the county has been converted to what we call remote claims. Up until recently, the county has required department heads or their assigns their people to come to our office with paperwork for claims to my accounts payable department. And this process has since been modernized. It was done systematically. It was done carefully. Started at the beginning of this year. We asked certain departments if they would volunteer to be, for lack of a better word, guinea pigs. The process saves, what does it gain the county? It gains the county, department heads don't have to come to our office, including in bad weather. It saves printer paper and ink. We have items stored in the so-called purple room that we will not need to be storing anymore. They're stored essentially on the cloud or through our financial software provider. Increases efficiency of employees. Most significantly, we've been under a number of audits by the SBOA as they catch up on the audits, not because of my office, but because of the previous treasurers and the cash being behind where our financial statements fell behind. When the SBOA comes and audits us, we have been having to onerously, my staff, dig through the purple room paper claims. This will all be on the cloud. It'll be draw-upable. And so I'm very proud and grateful for my staff, is spearheaded by Rhonda. And they came up with a manual, essentially, to help the department heads. And it's fully implemented. It increases efficiency and effectiveness. And it's a nice legacy and something that will, I think, be useful for the next auditor. Thank you.
Moving on, any other department heads on Zoom? No one else in the audience? Let's move on to requests. Consider 44.75 sick days paid for county highway employee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consider job title changes from administrator to director for EMS and health department. So pretty much what they want to do is they want to change their names from administrator to director.
Make a motion to approve that change. I think they're the last two department heads to be converted to just have the name change. It's more of a clerical thing than anything.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have nothing for old business. Moving on to new business. Consider health insurance renewal.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Eric Gibson with GIS. I'm an employee benefits advisor. With me is a colleague, Craig Benny. He's our agency president. So we are here seeking approval for the health insurance renewal for the upcoming year. As you guys know, we scoured the market, went to many different insurance companies and had multiple quotes. Our recommendation is actually to stick with UMR in Berkeley, which is the current plan, with a projected 3% increase.
So this, can I have a motion so we can have a discussion?
Yeah, motion to approve that.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
So we have a motion and a second open for discussion. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none.
This looks pretty standard. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the hard work that you guys do. I know that you spend a lot of time with HR and the insurance committee really going through everything, so we appreciate you.
You
Thank
guys have
you.
a great team. Thank you.
Consider contract for construction inspection of Bridge 97. Jay Sullivan. And
Good morning,
can we
Commissioners.
just do both of them at the same time? We'll be doing Bridge 97 and Bridge 90 and Bridge 46.
Yep, Bridge 46 is a professional engineering contract, and then Bridge 97 would be the inspection contract.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve them both.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, you do.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much.